I always thought dying would be the end. Turns out, it's more like being shoved into the world's longest waiting room except the lights flicker. Nobody calls your name, and you can't stop watching the living go on without you. That's how I spent 75 years. Stuck, invisible, forgotten, until he moved into the apartment. His name's Aaron. 23, maybe 24. Messy blonde hair, the kind that looks like he just tumbled out of bed or maybe like he's been arguing with his guitar all night, which, given the circles under his eyes, isn't far from the truth. He sings like someone who's been broken open, and every time his fingers drag across the strings, I feel something in my chest. Something I haven't felt since the night a Buick came out of nowhere and crushed the life out of me in 1950. At first, I tried not to care. Ghost rule number 1. Don't get attached. The living don't see you, don't hear you, and if by some miracle they do, they scream, pray, or call a priest. I'd seen it happen. But Aaron wasn't like the others. The first night he stayed here, he played until dawn. The melody was rough. His voice cracked in places, but there was honesty in it. A rawness. I stood in the corner, unseen, transfixed. I wanted to tell him he was brilliant, that the world didn't deserve a sound like his. But all I could do was hover, listening, as he poured his soul into an empty room. Then God help Mayhay looked up, straight at me. "Who's there?" he asked, voice hoarse but steady. I froze. 75 years, not once had anyone looked at me like that. Not once had anyone spoken to me since the night I died. "I know you're there," he said again, softer this time, like he wasn't afraid. "I can feel you." Maybe I should have vanished into the walls, gone back to my endless silence. Instead, I whispered. My voice cracked like broken glass, rusty from decades of disuse. "My name's Daniel." Aaron flinched just once, but he didn't scream, didn't run. Instead, he leaned forward, studying the empty space where my voice hung. "Daniel," he repeated, almost like he was testing the name on his tongue. Then, unbelievably, he smiled. "Guess my new place came with a roommate." That was the beginning. Days blurred into weeks, and somehow Aaron got used to me. He'd talk while strumming his guitar, sometimes asking questions I couldn't always answer. What was the world like back then? Did I believe in God? Did I miss anyone? I wanted to tell him everything. That I missed the taste of black coffee at a corner diner, the sound of vinyl records scratching late at night, the smell of gasoline and cigarettes that clung to the boys I used to dance with in secret, behind locked doors. But mostly I missed being touched, missed being seen. With Aaron, I felt seen again. He started writing songs about me, or maybe for me. I'd catch fragments of lyrics. Ghost in the corner. Voice through the static. Love I can't hold. Each time my chest ached. Could a ghost fall in love? Was that even possible? One night, the air was thick with summer heat, and Aaron sat cross-legged on the floor, strumming softly. He glanced toward Mimi, outline flickering faintly in the dim light, like smoke about to vanish. "You ever wish you could come back?" he asked quietly. My throat tightened. "Every day." He set his guitar aside, leaned back on his palms, and just looked at me. Really looked. The kind of gaze that could peel you open, see everything inside. "You already feel real to me," he whispered. I didn't mean to move closer, but I did. My hand, if you could call it that, hovered just above his. For a heartbeat, I thought I felt warmth. Flesh. Skin. A shock of connection that made me gasp. Aaron's eyes widened. He didn't pull away. That was the moment I knew I was in danger. Because for the first time since 1950, I wasn't afraid of being dead. I was afraid of wanting more than I could ever have. But the universe doesn't give second chances so easily. 2 weeks later, Aaron came home drunk, stumbling through the door with tears in his eyes. He dropped his guitar case, collapsed on the couch, and buried his face in his hands. "I can't do it anymore," he muttered. "The music, the pressurites eating me alive." I wanted to hold him, to steady him, to tell him he wasn't alone. But I was just air, just memory. Still, I knelt beside him, whispering, "You're not alone, Aaron. I'm here." And for the first time, he reached out. His hand brushed through mine through my very being, and for one impossible second, I felt solid. Real. Alive. His breath caught. Daniel. And just like that, I knew. Whatever tether kept me in this world, it wasn't unfinished business. It was him. That night changed everything. Suddenly, our conversations grew sharper, more urgent. Aaron started writing feverishly, as if every note was a lifeline, every lyric a confession he couldn't speak aloud. And I found myself wanting the impossible, to cross the veil, to be his. But there's a danger in wanting too much, because the living and the dead are not meant to love. Aaron didn't know it, but I was already fading. The more he touched me, the more I tried to stay in his world, the weaker I became. Ghosts aren't built for love-weary echoes, shadows, reminders. Yet every moment with him pulled me deeper into something I wasn't supposed to feel anymore. Desire. One night, as autumn rain battered the windows, Aaron finally asked the question I'd been dreading. "Daniel," he said, his voice trembling, "what happens if you disappear?" I wanted to lie. I wanted to tell him I'd always be here, watching, listening, his eternal shadow. But the truth pressed against my ribs like broken glass. "I don't know," I whispered. "Maybe I move on. Maybe I vanish. Maybe nothing." His eyes shone in the dim light. "And what about me?" God, the way he said it wasn't just a question. It was a plea. "You'll live," I said, trying to smile. "You'll write songs. You'll fall in love with someone real." But he shook his head violently, as though trying to dislodge the very idea. "You are real." His hands reached through me, desperate, and though it stung to feel myself unravel in his touch, I let him. "Don't you dare tell me otherwise." For the first time since 1950, I wanted to cry. But ghosts don't cry. We just ache. The breaking point came a week later. Aaron had been invited to play at a small New York club. His first real shot. But the pressure twisted him inside out. Hours before the show, he sat on the floor, his guitar across his lap, shaking like a boy on the edge of collapse. "I can't do it," he whispered. "I can't." I crouched beside him, wishing I could grip his shoulders, steady his trembling. "Yes, you can." He shook his head, tears cutting tracks down his cheeks. "Not without you." And that was when I understood. My tether wasn't to this apartment, or the night of my death, or the unfinished years I never got to live. My tether was him, Aaron, his music, his love. I leaned closer, pressed my lips where his ear should have felt them, and whispered, "Then sing for me." When he walked onto that stage, I followed him, unseen, hovering at the edge of the spotlight. And when he opened his mouth, it wasn't just him singing. It was both of us. His voice carried my silence, his notes carried my longing, and every person in that room felt something they couldn't explain, a ghost in the melody, a heartbeat in the spaces between sound. Aaron didn't just play. He bled, he soared, he lived. And for the first time since my death, I felt like I was living too. After the show, Aaron stumbled back into the apartment, laughing through tears. He set his guitar aside and collapsed on the bed, looking up at me with wild, shining eyes. "You felt that, didn't you?" he whispered. I nodded. Every second. He reached out, and this time miracle of miracles me hand met his. No flicker, no fade. Solid. Warm. Real. I gasped, half in terror, half in wonder. "How?" "I don't know," Aaron said, laughing breathlessly, as if afraid it would vanish if he stopped. "But you're here. You're real." And then he kissed me. It wasn't like kissing in life. It was more. His lips pressed to mine, soft and trembling, and I felt every decade of loneliness crack and fall away. The air around us burned with something neither life nor death could explain. For that moment, I wasn't a ghost. I wasn't a relic of 1950. I was just Daniel, a boy in love. Of course, nothing perfect lasts forever. As dawn crept through the blinds, my body began to flicker. The edges of me grew thin, transparent. I pulled back, terrified. "Aaron, no," he said, clutching me as if he could anchor me by will alone. "Don't go. I don't have a choice." My voice cracked. I think that was my goodbye. His face crumpled. No, please, Daniel, don't. I pressed my forehead to his. Somehow, I still felt the heat of him, the salt of his tears. Listen to me. You saved me. You gave me back everything I thought I'd lost. Don't waste your life mourning a ghost. But I love you. My chest burned with a joy so sharp it hurt. I love you too. And then the light took me. For a while there was nothing. Silence. Darkness. Peace. But love real loved to us and vanish. Months later, Aaron returned to that same New York club. He stood under the spotlight, guitar in hand, and when he opened his mouth, the crowd fell silent. His song wasn't just music. It was a prayer, a memory, a heartbeat carried across worlds. And in that moment, though no one else could see it, I was there. Not a ghost this time, not an echo, just a presence, standing beside him, as alive in his music as I had ever been in flesh. Aaron smiled as if he knew. His voice rose, filling the room, and every note was ours. Maybe I didn't get my second life, but in Aaron's songs I had something better. Forever. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.